Good morning. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. Today, we'll get to know a next-gen politico seeking to bring a new brand of leadership. We'll talk to her up close and personal as she joins us at the forefront. She's young, beautiful, and accomplished as an athlete and businesswoman. But there's more to one Pac-Man Partylist first nominee Milka Romero, beyond succeeding her father's influential presence in the House of Representatives. As a passionate advocate for women's sports development, she believes that athletic programs can empower communities and uplift lives. As a businesswoman, she brings a mindset that values efficiency, innovation, and the wise use of resources. Can Milka Romero combine legacy, leadership, and a fresh vision if she makes it to Congress? With us this morning, live at the BNC studio, is the first nominee of One Pac-Man Partylist, Micaela Luis Romero. Good morning, Milka.
Good morning, Attorney Karen, and everyone watching at the front line.
Is this your first interview?
No, actually, I've been here already in your studio in Bilyonaryo for sports-related naman. So very happy to be back.
Okay, it's an honor to have you here. So this is your first full-length interview.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start off things light para hindi ka naman kabahan, but we'll be showing you photos on our LED and tell us what they mean to you.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start off with this photo. So that's your whole family and your 5 siblings. Are you where in the siblings, first or second?
I'm the eldest.
You're the eldest.
Yes. Sometimes they confuse me who's the eldest, like my mom, my sister.
Oh yeah.
So
your mom looks
definitely,
so young.
they got married at a young age.
Yeah.
So.
But she's really managed to look so young that I'm not surprised that you get confused as sisters.
Yes.
Hindi ka na-insulto?
No, I'd love to, kabarkada na rin with my parents. So, yeah.
What was your mom and dad like growing up? Are they strict or what type of parents are they?
They get us involved, no? They're the type of parents that they're open. We were very much exposed at a young age to our business, to sports, and also they encouraged us to do our own path and to learn more in different fields, whether in sports, school, or in business.
Were they the type of parents na, others would say, tiger mom or tiger dad, na talagang they push you?
Of course, that pressure is always going to be there. I think improvement is always we're always open to improvement, but our parents were very much open for us to learn on our own. And although in school, academically, I was average, it was in sports where I really excelled. And my parents were really there to encourage me to continue that path.
Does that have something to do with your dad being athletic?
Yes.
Did you take off
yes.
after your dad's
yes.
athleticism?
Sports is part of our DNA, as our family has been involved with either playing or even owning teams across different sports in the Philippines. So my dad, specifically, he grew up with basketball. I grew up playing football. So that discussion is always there in the dining table.
Do you have any sports choices that takes after your dad? Because he plays a lot of more
martial arts also. And,
polo, jet ski,
yes.
trap shooting,
yes.
mga talagang kakaibang sports. Did
yes.
you inherit any of that?
Yeah, we would train Muay Thai up until today.
Muay Thai!
Yes.
Ang galing naman.
Even my sister, she was in the Philippine Muay Thai team. But I'm the only one who ventured off in football and now volleyball as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And your mom, what was it like growing up?
She's
also
our cheerleader.
Hanging out in her restaurant. That's
yes.
Based on our research, we found out also.
I grew up in the restaurant or food and service industry because my mom was the leading pioneers for food and hospitality. So after my college days, that's where my first venture at 19 years old, nasa food and business po.
Okay, since you mentioned that, but before we leave your family, among your siblings, kanino ka pinaka-close?
of course, my sister. So even now, we're even bonded closely because through us owning a sports team and even in our business now together. So she's able to be my partner talaga in learning and this new journey.
And among your siblings, you have sibling na ang layo ng age gap sa inyo.
Oo, parang anak ko na rin. Yes, miracle baby. So,
Miracle baby.
Although kapatid ko siya, we're 23 years apart.
Oh my goodness. So
like
napapagkamalan ba siyang anak mo talaga?
Yes.
Ang cute. And do you consider your youngest as a gift from God so that you don't miss your brother Miguel too much?
Yes. Of course, everything we do is dedicated also with my brother who passed away over 8 years ago. So we continue to build his legacy. He was also an avid sports fan, basketball player, polo player as well with my dad. And we're just so happy to, be closely knit through sports.
But it's nice to see your family does indeed look like you're very close.
We are.
Let's look at the next picture. And this is Eddie Garcia. How did he become very close to your family?
Yes, so Lolo Eddie is my dad's stepfather. So his long time, over 40 years partner is my Lola. Shout out to Mama Beth. So of course he's a legend in the entertainment industry. And one of our biggest laws that we passed was the Eddie Garcia bill that we'll discuss later. But he has also, growing up, I see him work and his work ethic and commitment, taping and late nights. So I was very lucky and fortunate to witness that.
So the Eddie Garcia bill, can you give us an overview? Does this provide more rights to artists?
Yes. So it is actually being implemented now with the help of DOLE, and there are actual rules and regulations that my father has passed through the Eddie Garcia law. So this would give proper shooting premises, times, and this would also give strength to not only for the actors, but also the people behind the camera to give them rights, and know their rights. So it's very important that they have something that they can reference to.
Did your dad encounter any challenges when they were trying to pass this in Congress?
Actually, it was very much welcomed and appreciated after the passing of my lolo due to an unfortunate accident on set. So right away, this was actually implemented and sped up. So in a span of 3 years, it was already being written as rules. And in just early last year, that's when it was now implemented.
Oh, that's great. So at least it did provide like a benefit to artists and protect them as well.
Yes.
Let's look at the next picture. This is your brand. So you talked about starting your own restaurants as well.
Yes.
Did you really start Sushi Nori when you were still in college?
Yes. So I was a student athlete and a business owner. So I was juggling 5 a.m. going to training, 9 a.m. going to school, and then after 5 p.m. doing work. So it was a 24/7 job, and the experience of being an entrepreneur is something that I value. Over 10 years in this industry, and talagang I've met all walks of life, and of course, it was a service industry, so very much employment and human resource was something that I appreciate more with my team.
But that's pretty amazing, being able to juggle all of that. I mean, sports and school by itself is very hard to juggle. And then you had restaurant pa.
Yes.
And in a matter of, 12 years, you were able to grow this into 15 branches. And then you also have other bars and restaurants that you own under the Miro Group.
Yes.
So now, how do you juggle all of that?
Yes, of course. Hopefully, once seated in Congress, these are businesses that I would already, to my siblings, they would, full focus now on politics and serving our country for the bigger purpose. No, so for me, these are foundation works that I now am able to apply in this new and very bright career in politics.
And you don't mind giving up the business side of your life when you have to focus on politics?
I think with over 15 years working in private sector, I really see the need for our age group, the millennials, to be leaders now of our country. And I really appreciate all the experiences that I've had and different chapters in our lives. So definitely this is something that I take on headstrong.
Okay, let's look at the next picture. Because apart from owning restaurants, you also manage sports teams.
Yes.
So there's Team Capital One Solar Spikers, which is a volleyball team. And then the Team Capital One Solar Strikers, which is a
Yes.
football team. So now, paano mo naman minamanage yung business with restaurants and then also managing sports teams?
Yes. This for me is the most passionate venture that I have because I myself was a women athlete. No? I was a female athlete that over 20 years of experience playing from grade school to Philippine team, nakita ko talaga the importance of sports in youth development and even in a professional level, how they need to be represented. So I myself owning these women's sports teams gives me a light inside of what is more needed, structures in place. And on a personal level, I just love watching volleyball. Alam naman natin na the volleyball league is very, very popular in the Philippines. And I love to support that. And I think with football, we still need more exposure, not only even for women's, but even the whole sport in general. So much more exciting things to watch for football as well.
How old were you when you started these sports teams?
Just this year, actually.
Just this year.
So,
okay. What gave you the idea to go into owning sports teams?
Solar Spikers, the volleyball team, we started that 1 year ago. So my sister and I, we were able to get the opportunity because a franchise disbanded. So with that, we immediately got the players because they lost their jobs and the coaches as well. And we built on from that. So we're actually 1 year in the PVL as well already. And with the football team, we only started last Feb. Also, similar scenario, a team disbanded, and I'm very much close to the football community. So once they asked me, I didn't hesitate to start a now women's football team.
And how did you finance acquiring the players and the team?
Of course, with the support of different sponsors, they see that I'm a driving force na sana with women in sports. So talagang we were able to push quickly and expedite, and also with my own savings. This is something that you give back na eh. Hindi na to yung business-wise or anything, but just seeing these women have a job through sports is something that I myself advocate and I'm inspired with.
Can you share with us a personal experience of yours wherein sports played a big part in shaping you or in making you a better person as to why this became your advocacy primarily?
Yes. With the characteristics and the development that we get at a young age through sports, up until today, that's my reference point. Something that I use in my rallies, in campaigning, in talking to people, being a leader. Most importantly is the discipline that we get through sports, the routine, and of course the teamwork that we have, and being a leader as well. So I always put back na this is just like a game. No, life is like a match that we, or a marathon already. I'm also a runner na rin. Kaya
Grabe naman. I don't know if you get your time para nahihiya tuloy ako
No.
sa oras ko. But so the Solar Spikers, is there a reason why you call it solar? Are you in the solar business as well?
Yes. So my sister handles a renewable solar energy. So we distribute and produce through solar or other renewable energy sources. So with that, we were able to create this brand wherein not only were we promoting sports, but renewable energy as
Okay, very good combination. And let's look at the next picture. And after all your hard work, at least you were recognized as People Asia's Women of Style and Substance in 2024. And this was also an award that your mom received years ago. So how did your mom feel when you got this award?
Very full circle moment. I've watched my mom, I always am seated in the audience. I'm very, very proud of my parents and what they've accomplished at a young age. And they inspire me. And, it's not naman that I want to aim for this same same achievements, but to be also recognized as a women of style and substance and women that can be a leader in our country and our generation today is something that, you know, I'm very honored and proud to be a part of.
Usually when they give you this award, there's a full article that's written about you. What did they recognize you for? Because you are involved in so many things.
Right. Of course, being multidisciplined is one thing, like we mentioned later, a while ago, from sports, business, and education. And our philanthropy works. I'm also part of, with my mom, she founded the I Want to Share Foundation. So over 10 years, she's been building this with a group of friends, but now it's a really big organization that just recently I married sports and the foundation by creating a charity fund run. So talagang I put my twist on my, you know, although they give me the structure, but the path is up to me to build.
And I Want to Share Foundation is primarily focused on what type of advocacy?
Yes, so it's for children with cancer. We partner with the Philippine General Hospital, and very, very deep to my heart to see kids, of course, who have no financial assistance for, and the cancer that they have is very, you know, something that we would want to continue.
And at least recently you've added sports to that.
Yes.
Not just, so it's not just about their treatments, but also
Yes.
their well-being in other aspects. And then let's look at this next picture. And this is one Pac-Man party list. So from business, sports, advocacies, now you're entering politics. Did your parents convince you to succeed your dad?
Of course, you know, this is something that they say, okay, would you want to get into politics? And because the legacy is there, the advocacies, we would want to continue, no? My dad is, he is the first talaga in our whole family who's ever been politics as a businessman. And
None of your ancestors, kahit sa mga lolo mo,
No,
wala
none.
talagang nag-politics before.
Yes.
Ano reaction nyo that time when your dad said he was going to enter politics?
Of course, why? We see that business is his forte, no? But like he always says to us, you know, you always find your next purpose, your bigger purpose. If this calls for this scenario, the world, the universe will lead you to it, even if ayaw mo, no? Or even if it's not in your cards. But because it leads to, you know, you have the leadership capacity, the foundation is there. Why not, no? From why to why not?
Okay.
I think it's
so you're dad at that time, what was he trying to solve when he decided to enter
Yes,
politics?
because of our businesses, like example, we used to own AirAsia and even with ports, nakikita niya na pwede niyang palakihin yung businesses, right? So he can translate that into, you know, helping the marginalized people, the different sectors, because you need organization, you need a business mindset to be and experience to be able to lead your country. No, you can't go without any background or foundation or even educational background. So I think that's a very big, good foundation that we were able to give back to our community.
Okay, so let's talk about One Pac-Man party list.
Yes.
Why was it named One Pac-Man?
Yes, it's called the One Patriotic Coalition for Marginalized Nationals. And of course, the Pac-Man word, of course, is we are endorsed also by Senator Manny Pacquiao.
Ah, that's why. Because a lot of
Yes.
people at first were confused. They thought that One Pac-Man stood for Pac-Man's party list. And I think the confusion was, at the time that it was founded, Pac-Man was also at the height of his boxing matches, right?
Our second nominee during my father's first term was Eric Pineda, manager also of Manny Pacquiao, which we really opened that he really supported the party list 3 terms ago already. We're actually seated 3 terms already. And the support has been there in terms of pushing sports and youth development, in pushing economic growth. And our tagline says champion sa sports, but I believe it's champion sa buhay na. So we really want to uplift the marginalized people because we know that Partylist is a sectoral congressman. No? We want to really represent the underrepresented.
So, with respect to the underrepresented, what specific marginalized sector are you representing?
Yes, of course, poverty alleviation is the forefront. No, my father actually is the chairman of Committee of Poverty Alleviation at the current Congress right now, But for me personally, it's really sports and youth development because I believe that sports can uplift a person's life, can strengthen a person's life, and build a community through sports and education. Of course, youth development, kasama na rin yun, no? Giving programs, skills training, scholarships. So all of that builds up ang ating mga citizens. Definitely, my aim here is palakasin natin ang ating kabataan. Palakasin natin ang mamayang Pilipino.
So definitely, you're representing the marginalized sector in terms of those that are not high income, yung mga marginalized sa poverty.
Yes.
Poverty.
And through sports, we give them jobs, we give them scholarships, opportunities to learn more, and you really need to give them access. No, funding and access is one of the things that, as a party list, you need to give to your constituents.
And your second nominee right now is
Bobby Pacquiao
Is he
of General
also
Santos.
focused on sports?
Yes, of course. Them as in focusing in General Santos and in Mindanao, they're really uplifting the poverty needs. No, they need to really push for different programs, not just on sports. So his focal point is the Mindanao sector naman. Yes.
How did your father prepare you to be the first nominee of One Pacman party list?
So since we've been seated for 3 terms or 9 years, I have very much been included in the team, no, or in the staff of Kong Milka Romero, joining the hearings and even helping with my sister draft the bills. Like my sister, she's really an advocate for indigenous people, no? So we were able to even create bills protecting them. And over 150 Republic Acts is One Pacman has already passed.
Over 150?
150 over the past 9 years.
Wow, which one are you most proud of?
Yes, so of course the 4Ps or the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program.
Your dad was one of the
one of the authors
for that bill.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So you're very happy with that specific law on 4Ps?
Yes, the 4Ps as well as the National Academy of Sports, the Universal Healthcare Act, the Free Tuition Act, and of course the Eddie Garcia law as well.
And how would you describe your leadership style compared to your dad? Are you the same or different?
I'd like to say that we're different. I got that from my mom, that we're very detailed. No, I'm very detailed. Wherein, of course, my dad gives the strategy, very macro. He sees the bigger picture, kasi that's what I get from my dad. You see the bigger picture. While my mom looks at all the details, paano natin gagawin yun? Teka lang, who are the stakeholders involved? Who are the people that you are benefiting? We need to go really knowing the grassroots level of who are we targeting.
So when your dad pala was serving his term, your mom was also helping out with the details and in the background, like with the structure?
Yeah. My sister and I were really, helping on the knowing the community more. But my dad, of course, as a PhD in economics as well and business, talagang he sees how to drive our country as a whole. No, economic growth, job generation, and for me, I see my niche is knowing online and offline what the people need. No, kasi right now, more than half of the people are voters or decision makers are millennials. So the taste and the updated approach is different na in this new Congress.
Since you're following your dad's footsteps, you're succeeding him in Congress should you get a seat. What did you admire most about your dad as a congressman?
He's a true visionary and leader. No, during the 17th Congress, he was also deputy speaker. So he was really able to stand up as a party list congressman, which is very, usually we're considered as a minority in the House of Representatives. So it's very inspiring that now not only are we giving a voice to the underrepresented, but we're also a stronger voice now in the House of Representatives.
What advice did he give you that resonated with you the most?
For me, it's always don't stop learning. Until now, he's also doing his master's in public service. I myself, I'm taking up my master's in national security and administration. So it's that learning process that gets you always to improve. And you cannot say that you're the best in something, because once you say you're the best, that's where the learning stops.
So yung multitasking pala, it's also genetic in your family. How do you see yourself continuing your father's legacy, but at the same time, carving your own niche should you make it to Congress? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. Milka, how do you see yourself continuing your father's legacy in Congress, but at the same time carving your own niche should you make it to Congress in the coming elections?
First and foremost, I'm a woman. So that alone gives a very different perspective. With my dad, although of course he's very supportive for me and my sister, I think my experiences as a woman business owner, a woman athlete, a female athlete is very valuable and vital to give brighter and new perspective in the Congress.
Well, actually, listening to you, it makes me really inspired to also be into sports. Just hearing you talk about it and how it can change lives. Given your passion for sports, how do you think can it change the lives of women in particular?
I've been going around the whole Philippines, from General Santos down to up to here in Luzon, and I've given a lot of sports clinics. I've met a lot of young athletes, and I see the joy in their eyes when they're playing sports, when they're all together in a community, learning something new, or seeing their idols that, I bring professional athletes from my teams to Cebu, to Bohol, and I very inspired that I can give them that opportunity, and this makes the character building for young women, young girls. Yeah.
How do you see doing that with respect to your focus on a marginalized sector, which is those that are in the poverty areas? And usually sports is a luxury because you have to have that extra time. And then normally, if you're constrained with resources, busy ka, syempre kakatrabaho, and then aalagaan mo pa yung pamilya mo. So how do you see sports having a role for even the marginalized sectors given financial constraints?
Yes. We are advocating on a healthy lifestyle. Kalusugan is the most important thing that the youth needs. To not only are they building character, but physically they need to be strong. Pinapalakas natin ang ating kabataan, no? And I want that opportunity through proper nutrition and feeding programs is really, really important and is lacking in our national agencies. So even if you say, okay, you're sports, but that's just the end goal. How do we get to that? Grassroots programs and feeding programs and, voicing out the importance of nutrition in our national budget is really, really important and is our main advocacy.
Well, right now, one of the challenges for the Philippines is the inflation when it comes to food. So that's why for lower income sectors, it's hard to afford nutritious food. how do you plan to bring that to
Yes.
the low-income sectors? Yun nga sinasabi mo, kalusugan as an advocacy.
Yes, that's the biggest point, no? I agree to that. And as a over 15 years experience in the food industry, I really appreciate our agriculture and our farmers. Our local farmers and our agriculture is the main driver of our economy that can also support the nutrition of our mamamayang Filipino, no? So I believe that we need to go hand in hand, support the local economy, and at the same time, our children. So for me, we have to work as a congressman. You have to work with different agencies to tie in talaga and cooperate the national agencies with the local government units.
What is your stand on ayuda? This is supposed to be also something that was given to dun sa mga Kapos ang Kita. So AKAP, it's for the Kapos ang Kita
Yes.
program. Do you think that's sufficient to provide for proper nutrition?
I don't think that's enough. I think, I know that it is much better to give, actual food to our children if they go to school, if they go to this skills training, and really progress their, evaluate their progress on their own nutrition. If you know, our over one third of the Filipino children are malnourished or stunt growth. Actually, declining po ang ating body structure from 5'4" for men, nagiging 5'3" na ang ating height, no? So you see a declining rate there.
Declining pa.
Yes.
Sa average na nga, hindi na nga matatangkad ang
Yes.
Pilipino by global average. So, declining pa pala
Yes.
to.
And it's a long-term thing. This isn't something that, right away we can fix. It's a generational thing that we want to strengthen the children and our health.
So, what would you do differently if you were in Congress in order to address this nutritional gap?
Of course, the immediate help that you can extend is already these feeding programs that we need to further fund. Aside from that is skills training for mothers to learn what to cook for their children, and more importantly is our agriculture access to food security. So if we have more rural infrastructures that can connect all these different farmers and support them faster, then we can get cheaper, hopefully more investments as well in our agricultural sector is very important.
When it comes to cash assistance, your father was one of the authors for the 4Ps. How would you compare 4Ps with respect to the other ayuda programs that we currently have right now?
Yes.
In terms of being effective?
With 4Ps, it's targeting the lowest of the low, or those who are the most vulnerable. So if they're able, and we were able to give around 70,000 to even uplift them if they finish school as well. Their kids, the families and their children finish school. So maraming na uplift ng mga pamilya and mga buhay through this Republic Act that my father has co-authored.
And you think conditionality is important
Yes.
in order for the results to be there, meaning educational attainment, and then kung saan gagamitin yung pera. You think that's important na parang 4P siya na may conditions?
Yes, and you have to follow up on these kung sinusundan ba talaga.
What do you think is lacking currently in the sports programs that we already have in the country?
Again, I cannot stress enough how important healthy lifestyle is, no? Ang kulusugan natin. And through sports, you're able to open up careers na young girls and young children can say, I can be one of those. I can be Alex Ayala or Carlos Yulo. But how? How will they get there, no? If there are no proper parameters or access for our children. So aside from training or sports programs only, you really need to give infrastructures such as sports complex, sports schools. We have now in New Clark City, the National Academy of Sports, which my father has also co-authored. So talagang malaking bagay to give them a clear pathway how they can see their future through sports.
What about the resources? We actually had the coach of Carlos Yulo and the siblings guest here.
Yes.
And the siblings have a bright future as well in sports. So, paano mo i-address yung kakulangan nga ng support? Because their coach was telling us, si Coach Cynthia, that she really had to gather support from people. Parang ang ano niya nga term niya, parang nanlilimos na sila just to get support. But how do we institutionalize that?
That's the great word, institutionalize talaga. Giving proper infrastructures for these young athletes to actually go to ask for help, to that they can train in. So a good example is the Academy of Sports. No, if you also know, si Alex Ayala, she went all the way to Spain pa at 12 years old to be in the Rafael Nadal
And who
Sports
funded
Academy. The person private.
Yeah.
No, their
Paano
own.
ngayon yung mahirap, no?
Right.
If you don't have enough funds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So having our own Academy of Sports, which is actually in place now, gives us more access. Na not everybody can travel abroad, or not every. I myself, you have your school here, your business here. So having that, more of that, one of the main goals that I have sana is to have National Academy of Sports in different regions naman. Para not everybody can go all the way to Luzon, no? So,
And as a businesswoman, you're used to making efficient use of resources. And you can see that the government has constrained resources. We've been running on a budget deficit. How do you plan to finance institutionalizing sports and good nutrition for
Right.
Filipinos?
of course, PPP projects or working with private shareholders is important kasi you see the interest na nga of a lot of private companies supporting or sponsoring these athletes. Bakit nasan yung government, no? We need to be there not only in the end lang, but these grassroots programs really encouraging the youth na imbes na mag-cellphone, learn their sports, and who knows? Actually, not who knows, I know that we have the potential. Hindi lang tayo outliers of Olympians, but we are very, very strong Filipino athletes.
Yeah, I like your term when you said hindi lang tayo outliers ng Olympians. And very good point, how to veer children away from electronics. This is not just a problem with marginalized sectors, but actually for everyone. At talagang yung screen time tumaas na. So what do you think would be a good program to shift the attention towards doing more sports and physical activities instead of being on screen?
I think it's not just a program na lang. It's a whole mindset that we need to shift. Our generation, everybody, every Filipino, na we need to go out there and be part of the community. And if sports can help with that, then we've done our job.
Okay, Milka, to get to know you better, we'll give a category and you'll have 20 seconds to share your answer.
Pwede bang 22 seconds? Kasi number 22
Oo nga, no, para
kami.
maalala ng mga tao, 22 sa balota. Okay. Number 1, as a daughter of an accomplished sportsman, what are the top 3 favorite sports of your dad, which people don't know that you're also good at?
Okay, so
timer starts now.
Muay Thai. I'm very into sports, no? So to diving as well, water sports.
Scuba diving.
So scuba
okay.
diving, Muay Thai, and nako, what's the last? I can't say basketball, but wait. Ang hirap pala itong mga fast to. What else? We learn arnis as well.
Arnis, okay.
So Filipino sport yun.
Oo,
Yeah.
yes. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So I think Muay Thai talaga, a lot of people don't know that your dad also does that.
Yes.
And then that you're good at Muay Thai as well.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay, top 3 sports which you think can be something that Philippines can be globally competitive in. Timer starts now. Ayan, ginawa na namin 22 22. Okay.
I believe, of course, in our gymnastics, you've seen that na rin. And weightlifting is still very much, we need to push on that. And I'd like to say the racket sports. So anything badminton, tennis, table tennis as well.
Okay. So yung mga basically sports na hindi kailangan ng mga height advantage,
yeah.
no?
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess long term, pagka ma-address nyo na yung nutritional gap, baka pwede na tayo mag-compete sa mga sports that require height, no?
Yes.
Okay, next question. As a tech-savvy millennial, what are your top 3 go-to apps? Timer starts now.
Of course, news apps are very much helpful. Fast 24/7 news is important. Of course, get connected with your friends. I use Instagram. What else? AI is also very important.
So you use ChatGPT?
Yeah, ChatGPT or other apps that are yeah.
Okay, so you have those 3. My husband does ChatGPT as well.
Yeah.
Okay, next category, top 3 things that you splurge on. Timer starts now.
I don't shop a lot. I'm not, maybe new gadgets for sports. Like I love my watch when I dive. I splurge on football shoes. And lastly, food.
Food, okay. Talagang very athletic ka.
Yeah.
Okay, next category. Top 3 most beautiful provinces in the Philippines that you have visited. Timer
Yes.
starts now.
I really love Bohol now. I see the potential of our tourism there. Of course, Palawan, because I dive a lot. And even in the north, I went all the way to Pagudpud na rin, and that was very
wow.
breathtaking.
Okay, so at least our fellow Filipinos listening to you now, makakuha sila ng tips on saan dapat pumunta.
Yes.
Okay, next category. Top 3 role models in politics. Timer starts now.
Of course, my father. He's really been my mentor all my life. Senator Pia Cayetano, who's also a very big sports advocate. And Senator Bongo as well. They're my idols for sports. Talagang they've done
As a
a lot.
bagay,
Yes.
okay, Pia Cayetano, a lot of people know that about her. Talagang very sports-oriented
Yes.
siya. And woman pa, pareho kayo. But Bongo is also someone who does a lot of
And my father
sports
has worked,
advocacy.
worked a lot with him in sports programs.
Very good. Next, last top 3 laws that one Pacman Partylist co-authored or authored that you're most proud of. Timer starts now.
So as discussed, the 4Ps or the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, which gives ayuda to the vulnerable and marginalized, the Free Tuition Act, talagang for education. I'm pro-education and uplifting the lives through the great equalizer, which is sports and education. And lastly, the Eddie Garcia law to give legacy to my grandfather.
Okay. And the 19th Congress has a few millennial representatives. Who have you met among them, and who do you want to work with should you make it to the 20th Congress? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the forefront. Milka, the 19th Congress has some millennial representatives. Who have you met among them, and who do you want to work with should you make it to the 20th Congress?
Personally, I've met most of them na rin, familiar faces, especially in the party list. You know, we're familiar and we know each other. A good friend of mine is, of course, Brian Poe as well. So we've actually exchanged a lot of ideas on how we can, bring more voice to the youth. And other party lists, yeah.
So ayaw mo talaga mag-mention ng names para walang favorites.
Yeah.
But Brian, you mentioned Brian Poe Lamanzares, and
Yes.
he's also running. So should he make it also in 20th Congress? Do you see yourself working with him closely?
Definitely. We grew up through sports as well. Together, I see him also racing. So talagang childhood friends kami. And now I'm very, very happy and proud to be working with people that I grew up with as well.
So when you start, if you are able to make it to the 20th Congress, what would be some of your priorities? Like within the first year in your mind, ito yung gagawin ko agad.
again, it's really palakasin natin ang kabataan through physical needs, which is proper nutrition. So if we can increase the budget on feeding programs, para hindi lang cash basis, but actually we know where the food or where the benefits are going to, which is our children, is one of the things that I want. Then later on, that would build grassroots, no, to our higher goal, which is to uplift more champions sa sports, more champions sa buhay.
Do you see yourself coordinating with the Department of Education so that you can bring the sports programs and the feeding programs to the schools, to public schools?
Definitely. You know, not a lot know that the sports on a collegiate or secular level is through the Department of Education. So actually, sila talaga yung nag-aayos ng pambansang palaro, ng other regional meets. So working closely with Department of Education is something that I wish as a congresswoman to be able to coordinate and do a lot of impact for our kids.
With the national budget, that's usually one of the constraints, right, when you're talking about the different programs. But this was controversial in the past budget that was passed for 2025 General Appropriations Act. How important is accountability to you? You have a lot of business experience, and fund use is something that is crucial to a business. So how do you intend to increase accountability, and how do you value it?
Definitely, as a government, we have to be transparent, no, to our constituents. And this is something na is basic that we have to be accountable and auditing. So it's not just releasing but it's actually following up. Did it actually go to, and that's the job of the congressman, to really see, tama ba yung pinaglagyan, or tama ba yung mga benefits na, and for me, I would want to represent, tama ba ang mga funding for the children, for education, and for sports.
Well, I can already visualize you as being part of the sports committee in Congress if you're able to make it there. But are there any other committees that you see yourself being actively involved in?
So as mentioned a while ago, my father is the chairman right now of the Committee on Poverty Alleviation. So that's something that I really admire, that he wants to uplift the lives of every Filipino through this committee. And to be part of it is, I hope that I can join the Committee on Poverty Alleviation.
What other areas do you think need to be addressed in Congress, particularly in Congress? You've already mentioned sports and something that you want to do for the whole country. But in terms of improving the way they do things in Congress, is there anything that stands out to you? Because you've also been involved in helping your father during his 3 terms.
Other laws or other advocacies that I would want to continue is the online presence. As the youth, we need to be protected, no? The children need to be protected as well. My father is also one of the authors of the anti-osaic bill, which is to online sexual abuse. So I believe that I can really put a stand there for the youth, for women as well, and for the online usage. Because right now, as millennials, that's really our form of communication, of news, of everything. No? So being updated technologically in Congress, I think, needs to be faster and more transparent as well.
So the way they enforce the law is, you think, that's something that you want to look into further. And to get to know you better, we'll give you 2 choices. You just have to pick one with no need to explain. So very fast, Dena, but you just need to pick when we give you the choices. Okay, first, do you take after your dad or your mom?
I hope they're not watching. I think more my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Basketball or football?
Football.
Japanese or Thai food?
Japanese.
Managing a resto bar or running a sports team?
Sports team.
Okay. Family trip or solo travel?
Family.
Speaking to the youth or talking to the elderly?
Oof. I love both. But of course, I want to hear more from the youth.
Okay, since single ka pa naman, boy next door or sports jock?
Boy next door.
Talaga opposites attract, no?
Ako na yung jock eh.
Ay, ang hirap yun I was thinking kanina, parang siguro pipiliin niya sports jock. But interesting, okay, so parang kakaiba naman. Okay, do you Nagka-boyfriend ka daw na foreigner.
Wait, next topic.
Okay. Free education or free healthcare?
Education.
Okay. Sige, so yun sa Love Life, papa-interview ka na lang namin sa ibang programa namin sa Bilyonaryo.
Sure, if you have me again,
Yeah.
definitely.
Early morning to play sports or fun night out with friends?
I'm a morning person. Yeah.
So morning to play sports
Yes.
with friends. Okay. Discipline to prepare or the will to win?
Will to win. Kasi if wala kang will to win, then, that's your end goal. You would want to be motivated.
So that's something you also learned in sports.
Yes.
Talagang having that commitment.
Winning mentality, yeah.
And what legislation are you going to push for if you join Congress? So apart from everything we've discussed, but when it comes to translating that to legislation, what legislation are you thinking of introducing?
Definitely more voice for the women, to give them more capabilities in the workforce. Laws that can give us protection as well. I believe that there are a lot more laws and rights that women are not yet met. Internationally, we're a bit far from women's rights.
Okay, and finally, Milka, so this is a combination of also a personal question, but people will look at you and think, okay, anak to ng mayaman. What can you say to those who think, okay, you don't have that insight to know what it feels like to be marginalized because laking mayaman ka?
I believe that life gives you a deck of cards, and it's still how you play with how you play and how you win with that. And I believe that the monetary is not the approach for being a leader. It's actually experience, and I do have that experience.
Thank you so much, Milka, and good luck in the upcoming elections.
Thank you so much, Attorney Karen.
Milka Romero stands at the crossroads of legacy and leadership, ready to bring a fresh energy to the halls of Congress if given the mandate to do so. With a passion for sports, sharp business sense, and a heart for public service, she hopes to bring a lasting impact on the lives of many Filipinos. As she steps into a bigger arena, all eyes will be on her on how she will turn her vision into action should her party list make it in the next month's election. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversation that would help nourish your thought process on key issues in our society. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.